guys think of cartoons, you generally don't think of them as for educational purposes or something to progress yourself farther along. What you generally think of is something to get a laugh out of, something to kind of ease yourself out of your daily routine, to put your mind at ease and to just have a relax. But if you actually look at them overall, you can find some like actual lessons in life. And some of them are a little bit obvious, like physics. Like obviously, planes will not fall to the ground if you run out of fuel. Or culture. You can learn about music and art and all different sorts of things. And then also even engineering and entrepreneurship. I mean, I've always wanted to log. I don't know about you, but I mean, look at that thing. But even more specifically that relates to more like men is that to be like yourself, to not be afraid to express your ideas, be who you are, and share what you have with the world. Because if you don't, then you're just going to remain in the background. You're not going to get to be who you always wanted to be. And if you don't believe me, then you didn't have a sister who made you watch 900 plus hours of Care Bears. Each individual, they're all different. They're all their own person. But then there's also failure, what we cover in here all the time. If you are not willing to fail, you're not willing to learn. Like these guys, they get hurt, they get down every episode, but then they come back the very next one, and they come back and they try and catch a stinking mouse again. Or like Courage the Cowardly Dog, he fears everything that comes his way, but he always comes back, learn what to do, and saves that old lady more times than you can count. But these are all kind of obvious. They're all kind of obvious lessons. And the more I reflected, the more I realized that actually cartoons can relate to design thinking. Like they're not in each episode individually. You're not going to see the whole entrepreneurial ways in one episode. But if you look at it as a whole, you can find it. Like for example, the first thing is like empathy. When you watch these, you're gonna laugh at their pain, but every once in a while, you're gonna see them and you're just like, dang, that actually might have hurt. You're gonna actually feel for them. You're gonna understand where they're coming from. Or some of the characters reflect it, like they'll help each other out. They'll help a person in need. They'll do stuff for other people, and they'll help them. But then there's also the ideation phase. Like every time you see one of these like crazy blueprints, these ridiculous ideas, they're getting their ideas out. They're putting them down on paper. They're getting organized. And they're trying to express what they think will work best. And there's also a prototype phase. I can't say none of these make it to the test phase because he never really actually, Wile E. Coyote never actually tries to make sure they work. They always end up a failure, but he's at least putting it into like proof of concept. He's trying to make sure that he can build something that could work and maybe catch up Roadrunner someday. And also, I mean, testing. Like none of these like actually show testing, but if you look at a cartoon as a whole, these artists put their blood, sweat, and tears into these things. They evolve over the years. They change every time. They're evolving to their audiences. They're making sure that their ideas don't die and that they're always changing and becoming new. So, conclusion, they might not always be most educational, but if you really look at them and evaluate them and reflect on what happens, cartoons actually can show some value to them.